Hello, everyone, and special hello for Friday afternoon, starting the weekend. Maybe you still have a few hours more to work or do whatever, but anyway, Friday always gives that feeling of free weekend starting. And today's topic to experiment with or to ponder on is true inner change. Many of us, if not all of us, we have certain situations that we come across again and again and again and again, or certain people that there are certain frictions with, or tension, or maybe even a right out conflict and clashes. And that happens regularly, or even with in a certain repetitive way. And also, many of us may have experiences of a sense of lack of enthusiasm for the self, or we may call it lack of self-respect, or off mood with the self, not content with the self, not happy with the self. And this may be ongoing or long-term or intermittently, but we all have these experiences that happens. So there is one area or that we might want some change is how we see ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And the other is interaction with others. Now, many times, let us first start with the interaction with others. Many times we use the method of trying to understand that other person's habit or tendency or where they are coming from. And we think that will help us kind of avoid the clash or diminish the clash. And another method practice is that we may be trying is having good wishes and good feelings, positive feelings for that person or for that situation. And we try to kind of manage that relationship in that way. Either we try to kind of accept that person has that specific habit or tendency and that clashes with mine, and then we kind of shower it with some good wishes. And that might manage the situation for a while. But when things are becoming really provocative, or if you're under other forms of pressures, then one finds that it is possible that you cannot really manage it, and that it still becomes tension again, as if you kind of put you put it under the carpet, but you did not really resolve it at a deep level. And you could say a certain weakness is you brought it down, but it is not finished, it is not burned. And the same with the self. We may be in an off mood or lack of enthusiasm for whatever reason, and there are some weaknesses, and we try and understand why this weakness is there and how did it come, and try and cheer ourselves up by focusing on something else. But if situations change, or circumstances become harsher or more provocative, it might pop up again. Now, a deeper method to really get rid of these things is to see, hold that vision of greatness. For example, in interaction with others, instead of seeing that weakness or that uh, um, unpleasant habit or unpleasant tendency of that unpleasant interaction, move the whole scene in your mind to the spiritual dimension and understand and as if hold that vision that this is all just a play and we're acting out certain scenes with each other. We're playing this game of life with each other, and there are certain character traits that interact. But behind the play, beyond the play, are two spiritual beings, beings of consciousness, beings of light, beings who are innately God-like in nature, children of God, and souls. And these souls are playing out certain parts, and in the parts there are certain character traits, and it clashes, whatever. But behind that part is a pure being, a soul, who is my brother. Behind this part of Rona is that spiritual being, that immortal, innately God-like being of light. And the other one is also the same, loved by God, a lovely being, an invisible, immortal, peaceful, wise, pure being of light. And more that I hold that vision, then really change happens inside. Feelings change and vibrations change. And then whether the situation changes or not, the stage doesn't come down. Attitude is a spiritual attitude of brotherhood. Real change can happen. Feelings of hate or vengeance or irritation or stress will go. Even though there may be conflict of opinion, there may be differences in how to go about things. But the vision will be of greatness, of the spiritual being behind that role. And if I can shift that change inside, then my experiences of those situations will also change. And the same with self. We identify with weaknesses or we identify with strengths and skills of the physical personality of Rona. But the real self is not Rona, that is the part being played out. The real self is that spiritual being, divine being, immortal being, imperishable being who belongs to that world of souls, who belongs to God. And when there is that deep joy of and conviction of true self and the experience of that timeless, peaceful, playful nature of the real self, then that mood swings and up and down will not be there. We can accept the drama of human life, the game that is being acted out, the play as it is, and the part as it is. Rona has strengths, Rona has certain weaknesses, but the soul doesn't identify with that. Detached, come back to the eternal and innate nature of the self. And if we have done that internally, truly shift into the awareness of the real identity, the soul, then our experiences of situations and things that come in our way uh, at the level of daily human life will not affect us and not bring the inner stage down. So let's have a few moments of reminding ourselves of that true, innate, timeless nature of the true self, the soul. And so consciously come into that awareness that yes, there is this body and there is this physical personality, in my case called Rona. And Rona is born at a certain time and Rona will come to the end of the lifespan at some stage. And there is a human personality which is like the part. But the one who is eternal, the one who is beyond matter, the one who is beyond this human personality, the one who is playing this part, the soul, is an imperishable being, no beginning, no end, a being of consciousness, timeless living light, eternally secure and free. A being who is innately godlike in nature. And all that we have to do is to remember this. All that we have to do is to hold that clarity. That is what it means to be in light, to be enlightened. That is what it means to be aware. The truth and the beauty and the greatness of the real self, regardless of what happens in the drama of human life. And just try and grasp that state of mind where one is completely disidentifying with the human personality, which is limited, which is as if acquired. We've grown attached and we grew to identify with it, but that is not the real self. Like I said, Rona has a beginning, Rona has an end. Rona is the human character, part of this game of life. But the real self is this invisible, complete, pure, playful, living light, being of consciousness, child of the Supreme. And just for a few moments, try and hold that awareness, grasp it and hold that awareness of, for example, being an immortal being who is like a guest in this body a guest in this physical world, playing a part. And when the part finishes, remains that divine being of light. And through that clean mind, that clean intellect, that clean awareness, becomes possible to experience the presence of the Supreme and have that soul to soul interaction through pure thoughts, through pure feelings. Coming out of mortal human consciousness and shifting into spiritual, timeless, unlimited consciousness. With conviction, with joy, and then holding that and nurturing that repeatedly, coming back to that awareness. That is true inner change. And then situations and interactions within the play of human life will not bring the attitude down, nor the vision will change. It is just a game we're playing. But the beauty and the truth beyond the game, that is the real aim. Thank you. And let's aim throughout the weekend to hold that vision of spiritual greatness, seeing the true being, seeing the invisible behind the visible for the self and everyone else. Have a good rest of your Friday and enjoy the weekend.